The Dumbest Death Eaters, a tragic Harry Potter story. Let's be honest, we all laughed at Crabbe and Goyle. For 7 books, they were the punchline. Draco Malfoy's idiotic muscle, barely able to string a sentence together. But what if I told you their story ends not with a laugh, but with one of the most horrific deaths in the entire Harry Potter series? What if their tale isn't just about 2 dumb bullies, but is a chilling warning about how blind loyalty and a hunger for power leads to a pathetic and almost forgotten end? From the moment we meet them on the Hogwarts Express, Vincent Crabbe and Gregory Goyle are little more than shadows. They're Malfoy's enforcers, his unthinking bodyguards. They are the textbook definition of followers, the rank-and-file soldiers of a dark ideology they barely seem to grasp. For most of the story, they're interchangeable, defined not by who they are, but by who they follow. Their loyalty to Malfoy is absolute, a twisted parody of the friendship between Harry, Ron, and Hermione. They laugh at his jokes, carry out his petty cruelties, and soak up his pure-blood prejudices without a single question. But if we just write them off as dumb muscle, we miss the point. They represent a crucial and frankly terrifying part of any evil movement. The enablers. They're the ones who don't have the vision to lead, but have just enough cruelty and obedience to carry out the orders of those who do. So, let's break down the complete, tragic story of Crabbe and Goyle, from simple Hogwarts bullies to a devastating end that shows the true price of embracing the darkness. To really get Crabbe and Goyle, you have to look at their parents. Their path was paved for them long before they set foot in Hogwarts. Both of their fathers, Crabbe Sr. and Goyle Sr., were Death Eaters during Voldemort's first rise to power. When Voldemort fell, both men, just like Lucius Malfoy, claimed they'd been acting under the Imperius Curse to wiggle their way out of a life sentence in Azkaban. They were part of the cowardly bunch who disowned their master to save their own skins, only to come crawling back the moment his return was confirmed in that little Hangleton graveyard. This is the world their sons were raised in, a home filled with whispered prejudices, resentment for muggles and muggleborns, and a deep-seated belief in pure blood supremacy. Their fathers weren't loyal to a cause, they were loyal to power. It's no wonder their sons showed up at Hogwarts and immediately latched onto the boy who represented that power in their world, Draco Malfoy. They were just recreating the dynamic they learned at home: find the strongest leader and fall in line. Throughout their time at Hogwarts, Crabbe and Goyle's schoolwork was a masterclass in magical ineptitude. They failed in just about every class, relying on Malfoy for answers and their own brute force to get by. Their only real skill was being big and intimidating. They were bullies, plain and simple, and they clearly enjoyed the fear they could spread among younger students. Their incompetence is almost funny at times. In their second year, they famously became the stars of Hermione's Polyjuice Potion plot without even knowing it. When Harry and Ron disguised themselves as the Slytherin duo, all they had to do was act slightly more curious than usual, and Malfoy didn't suspect a thing, which tells you just how little independent thought the real Crabbe and Goyle ever had. But being dumb didn't make them harmless. When Dolores Umbridge and her inquisitorial squad showed up in their 5th year, Crabbe and Goyle were first in line to join. For the first time, their bullying was not only allowed, it was rewarded. They were given the power to dock points and terrorize other students with official authority. They loved this power, patrolling the halls like Umbridge's personal thugs, a grim preview of the roles they would later embrace. Their time on the squad proved that even without magical talent, they had a deep capacity for cruelty when given the chance. Everything changed in their final year at Hogwarts. With Dumbledore gone, Snape as headmaster, and the brutal Carrow siblings as professors, the school became a nightmare. Amicus Carrow took over Defense Against the Dark Arts, which he just called the Dark Arts. The curriculum wasn't about defense anymore, it was about practice. Students weren't just taught curses like the Cruciatus curse, they were made to practice it on kids in detention. And for the first time in their lives, Crabbe and Goyle were good at something. According to Neville Longbottom, who suffered under the new regime, Crabbe and Goyle were suddenly top of the class. For years, they had been failures. Now, in a school that rewarded cruelty, they were star pupils. This newfound competence, mixed with the power they were handed, was a toxic combination. It woke up something that had been lying dormant: ambition. Crabbe especially started to change. He was no longer just Malfoy's mindless follower. Empowered by his skill in the dark arts, he grew more confident, more vicious, and more independent. His loyalty started to shift away from the now disgraced Malfoy family and toward the dark power he could now use himself. He got a taste of real power, and it made him dangerous. The tragic end of Crabbe's story plays out during the Battle of Hogwarts inside the Room of Requirement. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are there searching for Ravenclaw's diadem when they're cornered by Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle. But the power dynamic has completely flipped. Malfoy is terrified and hesitant, remembering Voldemort's orders to capture Harry, not kill him.
Crabbe doesn't care. He's full of murderous rage, his face twisted with a hatred that's far beyond a schoolboy rivalry. When Hermione stuns Goyle, Crabbe screams, "Avada Kedavra," trying to kill her. This is a boy who once struggled with basic levitation charms, now throwing around unforgivable curses.
In the book, Crabbe openly defies Draco for the first time. Malfoy yells at him not to kill Harry, but Crabbe isn't listening anymore. His loyalty to Malfoy is dead, replaced by a new loyalty to the dark magic he serves. With a twisted grin, he unleashes a spell of unimaginable darkness, fiend fire. The book describes it as a living fire, forming gigantic beasts, dragons, serpents, and chimeras that consume everything. It's a spell so dangerous that even Hermione admitted she'd never dare use it. Now, it's really important to note that this is how it happens in the book. If you've only seen the movies, you'll remember this scene differently. In the film, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2, it's Goyle who casts the fiend fire and dies. This change was made because the actor who played Crabbe, Jamie Waylett, was arrested for cannabis possession in 2009 and was not brought back for the final film. But in the original story, Crabbe learned the spell from the Carrows, but as Ron grimly points out later, he clearly wasn't paying attention when they taught him how to control it. The fire turns on its master. The fiery monsters multiply, chasing all of them. In the chaos, Harry, Ron, and Hermione manage to grab Malfoy and the unconscious Goyle and escape on broomsticks. But Crabbe is lost. He is last seen screaming as he's swallowed by the very inferno he created. He's killed by his own spell, consumed by a power he was too arrogant and unskilled to control. In a moment of terrible irony, the fiend fire he unleashed was one of the few things that could destroy a Horcrux, and it incinerated Ravenclaw's diadem. His pathetic, horrifying death accidentally did more for the war effort than he ever could have on purpose.
While Crabbe is consumed by his own dark magic, Goyle survives. He's unconscious for most of the fight and is rescued by Ron and Hermione, who drag him to safety as the Room of Requirement burns. His fate after the Battle of Hogwarts is never stated in the books, leaving his future a mystery. He's a follower left without a leader. Did he learn anything from the horror he witnessed? Or did he just find another strong personality to cling to? We'll never know.
The difference between their fates is stark. Crabbe, who finally found a sliver of ambition and independence through the dark arts, was destroyed by it. Goyle, who remained the more passive and dim-witted of the two, survived, saved by the very people he had spent 7 years tormenting. So what's the point of this ugly, pathetic story? Crabbe's death isn't a heroic sacrifice or the satisfying end of a major villain. It's a terrifying and deeply pathetic death. It's the story of a boy who got a taste of power he was completely unequipped to handle. His ambition shot past his skill, and his hatred burned brighter than his wisdom. Crabbe and Goyle are the foot soldiers of evil. They're a warning about what happens to the people who, through blind loyalty, laziness, and a desperate need for validation, allow evil to grow. For years, they were happy to be followers, but the moment Crabbe decided he wanted to lead, the only way he knew how was through pure destruction. He unleashed a power he couldn't control, and it ate him alive. Their story is a chilling reminder that in any war, it's not just the generals and heroes who have stories. There are also the tragic, forgotten tales of the dumbest Death Eaters, whose blind march into darkness leads only to their own ruin. Their story is a dark footnote in the saga, but it's a powerful one. Do you think Crabbe's death is one of the most tragic in the series? A grim look at a boy consumed by an ideology he was born into? Or was it just desserts for a cruel bully who finally got what was coming to him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this look into the darker corners of the wizarding world, be sure to subscribe for more.